Wow, these dudes have really still not announced UFC 317. This is just are they really they're really about to wait until after 315 to announce this. I mean, it only makes sense. At this point, they are now waiting to see the result of Belal versus Jack Del Maddalena this weekend before they announce this card. And I normally wouldn't make this many videos about one card. I like to react to news that we actually have announced from the UFC and we know is happening. It is, of course, fun on the creative side of making content to speculate and the what ifs and this and that. But at the end of the day, I like to react to the stuff that we actually are getting from this organization, the promotion. And also, this is one of the biggest cards of the freaking year. And we are this close to it. It's already May. We are less than, what are we up to now? Almost 50 days away. And we still do not have an announcement for UFC 317, this card that is supposed to be the biggest card of the year, the magnitude of UFC 317, knowing what we're potentially going to get. And it's kind of already confirmed by Ilia himself that he's going to be on the card. And we, of course, do not know yet, but we're hoping it's either Islam or Ciryl to just the magnitude of this card to not have had it announced already this soon and this close is just crazy to me. I was expecting it weeks ago, as we all were. The fact that we didn't get it around 314, okay, you wait a little bit longer. But now it's really just gotten to the point where they're really stretching it. And I think for sure, I've already said this numerous times, but for sure by next week. At this point, for sure, after UFC 315, they are waiting to announce 317. And we will know by next week what is going to happen. At this point, I mean, we're hearing rumors that Islam's in camp. Ilia literally, the words came out of his mouth that he will be hoping to make people happy again on June 28th. We just don't know against who. And yeah, it's just, I can't remember, obviously I wait with anticipation for every event to be announced and to react to it, but not as much as UFC 317, especially with what we know could happen. Biggest card of the year. And interestingly enough, Dana White is busy doing other things. It seems to be that he's announcing everything but the UFC's 317, promoting Crawford versus Canelo, and he's going and promoting what's the name, the boxer, Callum Welsh. I don't even really care that much. He's promoting that. He's promoting different things, everything but the UFC 317 announcement right now from Dana White. And yeah, it's just frustrating to see things like this when now he's putting his hands in boxing and power slap and he's focusing less and less on the UFC right now. And this is a good point that a lot of people are making on this over YouTube on the MMA content space is that the UFC must be very happy with their profit margins. They've grown the sport to such a point that they no longer really care to put effort into what they're doing, to make the fights that we really want to see or to load up cards. They're just, because we know they know we're going to watch anyways. We're suckers for this. And I love the sport, so I'm going to be interested in watching even the main events on Apex cards, except for the women's ones. So they're literally just giving us anything, and they're just happy with the profits. They're happy with the margins. And Dana White's just less and less active on helping what he used to do back in the day when they were really trying to grow the UFC and bring us the biggest and best cards. Because there's no reason they can't stack up 317, but watch how they just make it a little bit they put something really crazy for the main event and then the rest of it is not so top heavy. And again, with this Ilia Islam situation, it just came out today that Hunter Campbell visited Islam in Dagestan. And how that conversation went, most likely, is that, and at this point, it only makes sense that they're just going to wait until 315 to see what happens, and then Islam will take it from there. Hunter Campbell probably said, okay, look, we're here May 10th. You're going to find out if Belal is going to be still the champion or Jack Della Maddalena. And if Jack wins, Islam's going to move up, vacate, just like Ilia did, and Ilia will have to fight someone for the vacated title. Or if Belal wins, Islam they're immediately going to announce that Islam versus Ilia is taking place. They might announce it the following Tuesday. They might announce it literally right at the event of UFC 315. We shall see. I was so sure they were going to announce it already last week, like one of those days with Ilia already giving some leaks that he was going to be on it, that the camp has begun. Still nothing. We still don't have like anything confirmed except for 3 fights. The only fights we know are going to be on it are like prelims. I mean, for sure, they're probably putting Royval and Kopp on the main card. Then they have Costa Kopylov, which we don't know if any of this is official. And then Zellhuber versus Michael Johnson, which is for sure some prelim. So yeah, Islam, he visited him in Dagestan. That was probably the conversation that went on. They're going to wait until see after UFC 315. And it's just crazy that we still have not had this announcement. And we are so close to the event, and like people want to start buying tickets and making their way there for the UFC to just, I can't remember the last time they waited this close to announce a card. Of course, in this sport, things change very quickly, and there's always like last minute like replacements if a fighter drops out. But to at least announce the initial card, they announced UFC 318 before they announced this card. They announced UFC 318. June is going to be great, though. I looked at it, and right now the lineup for June is looking really nice. You're starting the month off with Sean O'Malley versus Merab at 316, okay, whatever. My thoughts on that fight already in another video. Then you got Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. Then you go into UFC Baku with Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill. And then you got 317. I think that's a pretty good month. And yeah, still waiting on this. Now, I also want to talk about something else that has started to enter the realm of possibilities for UFC 317. And Chael Sonnen, who knows with this guy? He doesn't seem like credible anymore, because he was just saying that Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall's a done deal, and then a day later is saying that now Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane for another interim title defense could be a possibility. And if that is the case, if that really is the case, that is just an absolute like disgrace, bro. That is really just one of the biggest bullshits like I've seen, because like to have Tom Aspinall defend his interim belt again versus another person when it should really be Jon Jones, and even waiting for Jon Jones to get his Stipe fight done with and over with. And for Jon Jones to not even say like he fully wants to retire, and to wait this long, and to not even vacate the belt so that these guys could fight for an undisputed heavyweight title. At this point, at least just leave the sport and leave this undisputed title for these two men to fight it out. Okay? And if that really is the case, bro, I don't even know. I really don't even know what we're doing anymore. And I mean, Jon Jones recently posted, it was on Instagram. He was putting up all the posters on his wall, and he said the story is not finished. There's still one more to complete, teasing. It's enough already. It's enough with Jon Jones teasing the fan base, teasing the MMA and the UFC. Clearly, the UFC is trying everything in their power to make this fight. Dana White keeps on saying he's still confident it's going to happen, and we still don't hear anything. We still don't have anything. Now there's rumors of this being a possibility in the meantime, until Jon Jones could say, okay, I'm ready to fight Tom Aspinall in Madison Square Garden. I mean, I get it though. I get it if Tom Aspinall does this because he wants to stay active. He's betting on himself. It's a big roll of the dice to take on another fight like this before, if this is supposed to be another build up to the Jon Jones fight. It's like, okay, go up against Ciryl Gane, defend your title one more time. It makes the Jon Jones fight bigger. I mean, imagine Ciryl Gane beats Tom Aspinall for some reason. That kills the hype of everything. And Ciryl Gane also was not supposed to win his last fight. I think most people could agree that Volkov won the decision. But Ciryl Gane, yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's the only guy in the top 6 that Tom Aspinall hasn't fought yet. So if this is, I guess, something in the realm of possibilities when they announce the card next week, if they decide to announce that it's Ilia and Islam, and then Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall as a co-main event. Oh my gosh. I'm sick and tired of, as we all are, of just this waiting game with Jon Jones. And if the fact that Tom Aspinall would need to defend his interim title again, versus Ciryl Gane is just crazy. So this has now entered the realm of possibilities for UFC 317 as well. It could be a combination of Ilia and Islam with a Kai Kara-France Pantoja co-main. It could be now a Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane co-main. We don't even know if Charles is on the card or Arman. Arman just did something in like grappling. We don't know anything. We're just so left in the dark with whatever they could announce, and we're just gonna have to wait to see what happens next week. But yeah, as soon as this announcement goes live, I cannot wait to announce it. It's this card right here. This feels like this UFC 317 feels like whatever it's gonna be on is like such like a peak moment in this because of what we know could happen. So I've said it many times already on my my young channel. The UFC better not mess this up. They can't fumble the opportunities here because the year has so far not been what we thought it would be. And the UFC just needs to start caring again and putting together the matchups we need to see. So we'll see